I have children in the Bronx who have never stepped foot into Manhattan. They've never crossed the bridge. When we mention a facility like Lincoln Center, they look at you like you have 4 heads. What are you talking about? What's a Lincoln Center? And we'll show them a big picture and they think it could be something in Europe.
I have a unique perspective. I see the first day when they get their instruments, the smiles never leave their faces. I get to hear them because the practice room is right here, so I hear their progress from when they're first doing their scales until it sounds like music, sounds like songs. And I'm a musician myself. I played in my high school orchestra, so I know what they're going through, and I think it's wonderful.
I was hired to be a principal to close a school as my first position. 75% of the children that I was going to serve that year were reading below the 29th percentile, so it was a catch-all for every emotional and social problem you could ever imagine. I implement this music program in the school, and they didn't close the school that year, but the children on the 29th percentile were now performing on the 80th and 90th percentile. They looked very carefully at everything we were doing and said, oh my goodness, it's the music. And it was the only variable we had. We had no new math books, no new science books. We went from a school that was slated to closure to President Clinton give us a National Blue Ribbon School of Excellence. I leave the school and become executive director for Education Through Music. We went from serving 175 children to over 27,000 this year.
The work of Education Through Music is we come into a school community and we show the value of music education.
Hello, hello, how do you do? How do you do? How do you do? Hello, hello, how do you do? How do you do today?
We say tempo.
Tempo. Hello, hello, how do you do? How do you do?
We teach music in schools because it teaches kids to think. That cognitive development, the critical thinking skills developed in the music classroom are transferable and they make kids successful in life.
I would go up, up, up.
Let me hear you.
I would go down, down, down.
They don't have a lot. This classroom here, they come into this room at the beginning of the year and their eyes widen and they see all the resources they have. And I think that's something that's really special for these students to come in and have something here. A student that might not succeed in another academic setting, so many times they see this, they come in and this is their thing, and this is where they excel. Their classroom teacher, another adult in the building that might have stigmatized that student as the bad kid, to see them succeeding in here, and that changes their expectations, and that has a widespread effect.
When you have an instrument, it takes responsibility. Like, you have the instrument, you have to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, 3 days a week, and it becomes a lifestyle that sometimes you even do it the day when you're not supposed to, but you're like, oh my God, I don't have to do it. But it becomes a lifestyle in life that makes you more responsible.
All the notes that we're having to memorize, same thing with math. Like, it's not that different because it's teaching us to multitask and really think about what we're doing. Of course, if we play the same instrument and we're fighting all the time, then how is this going to be fun for either of us? We have to at least get along.
When it comes to the special needs population, their relationship with school is different from the rest of the population because they're learning life skills for the most part. It's very easy to forget that they have their own human needs. They still need to live through the arts. They still need to have some kind of spiritual connection, some kind of human connection. I once had a student, she was nonverbal, so she didn't speak. Her face was kind of catatonic almost, like she would just, nothing would show, very stoic all the time. And then one day I put on a blues and she goes, and she jumps out of her chair and she slides across the floor playing air guitar like a rock guitarist on the edge of his And everyone was like, oh, where did this come from? Like, that kind of expression had never happened in her 3 years here at the school before, and you just have to find that one thing that connects. And for her, it was a 12-bar blues, and suddenly she's able to express something.
Don't be afraid of doing anything, because when you put your mindset to it,
you never know what you can do.
Your idea can become a possibility, and then your possibility can become reality. And then maybe your dream might come true.
Might, it will, if you work hard. That's what it's about.
Do, re, mi, do, re, mi, so. Do, re, mi, fa, so.
Being a girl is really risky business.
I almost cried like 10 times.
We're living in a world where the media is telling our girls they're fat, ugly, and stupid. That is the message. And it's not just a message you get like once a week or once a day. It's everywhere.
And then I woke up like feeling like the world was like ending, and then I checked my phone.
When I went to the first workshop, I walked in and my co-founder Ashley was sitting on the floor and she said, so what do you care about? What are you thinking about? And for 3 hours, these young women like shared their stories. It was so powerful. And that became the modality of Girl Be Heard. They kept telling us it was like this innovative model. But it's a listening model. You get in a room with young people and you listen to them, and then you put Miracle-Gro on their talents, and then you help create ensemble theater based on what they care about most.
I want you to give them written feedback on both of their pieces. It's a tool called peer editing, and the idea is to help each other grow as artists.
I'm kind of shy, like kind of just don't like to share my work. In class, I'm not really the person to like raise my hand and talk about what like is important to me, I guess.
You're a fake Mexican because you don't speak Spanish. You're from Asia. Do you speak Asian? I was not made for you to inspect. I was created from so many people here.
Now I'm starting to do that more and more, and like raising my hand in social studies class, like, oh, I don't agree with that, or I agree with that, and here's my opinion.
The difference part, I love that, because everybody's so uncomfortable being different, and like, we are not the same. You don't look like me, I don't look like her. She doesn't look like nobody's the same. And that's okay. That's what that's what America's supposed to be about. I have found myself writing about capitalism. I never ever thought of capitalism in middle school. I was like 14 when I joined, and now I'm 16, and I feel so much healthier in terms of my mind and my like body and soul.
Once you're out of that first year of Girl Be Heard, you can be in our main stage shows. We've had main stage shows on every issue, from gun violence to sex trafficking to forced child marriage to the immigrant crisis.
I'm the girl that got bullied for 7 years because she didn't fit in. I'm the girl that got left by her parents for their loved ones.
I feel comfortable with telling my stories. Like, I've been touched, and I feel comfortable with letting people know that now. But before, I would never want anyone to know that because I was afraid. I was afraid that I was a burden on people. But now they make me understand that my story is as important as everybody else's story out there. We all struggle, but we just have different stories to tell people.
Girls are hijabs, lipsticks, thigh gaps, godless, Facebooks, maiden names, objects, pedestal, refrigerator, plot points for man pain, sex toys, blurred lines, second sex, tampon text, violence, no violence, system malfunction, system creating the patriarchy, they're perfect little dolls. Anything but what we can't dare for them to become. A monster like me.
If there's no music, there's no melody or anything, nobody sings or stuff, people would just be boring and walking around. It makes people feel happy instead of being sad and stuff.
Right now we have about 8 different countries represented. A lot of them are from Burma, or the kids have grown up in Thailand in refugee camps. We also have from Nepal, from Sub-Saharan Africa. One of the schools that they come from, over 70 different languages are spoken. They learn to play an instrument, first of all, but that sort of spreads out from there. So we give them an instrument, which is lovely for them to have, and they take it home, and they get to carry it on their back, and we give them t-shirts and hoodies, and so they become part of a team.
With these kids who come sometimes from difficult countries, they have difficult home lives. They're all struggling to find Buffalo as their new home.
I can
certainly provide them sort of guidelines for, you know, social behavior and, you know, sort of how to best find their way in a new country.
Now we're doing more non-Western songs. So you'll hear today we're doing a Karen song, which is part of a language spoken in Burma. We have a Nepali song, so we want to do more and more of that. So when their parents hear the kids practicing at home, it's not just, you know, the usual Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but they do that, but they also, they hear their kids maybe playing a song from home.
I think music is the same language. There's no language barrier, no boundary. So everybody can learn very easy and support to the kids. Not only the kids are like a parent, because we can learn from the kids.
You get to have fun and get to be yourself and do instrument that you really want to do. Everybody's welcome.
We were so grateful for Find Your Light's contribution towards Buffalo String Works because that enabled us to add another school. We were able to buy instruments for them, provide an honorarium to teachers. We're already seeing that we're becoming more of a community-based program rather than school-based. We try to think like, how can we really help you become something bigger and, you know, not only to serve us, but to serve the community and society at large.
We cannot thank Find Your Light enough for investing in our girls, and it's a lot of girls. 30% of the teaching artists are alumni of the program, which means that this money can go into paying an alumni to teach the program they know so well under a master's level teaching artist. And I actually think that's what's so unique about the foundation, is that Find Your Light is supporting organizations that are bringing arts programs into communities that need them the most.
In the education business, educators don't look at the research, because if we did look at the research, I truly believe that music would be in every single school. This is one of the reasons why I love Find Your Light Foundation, because they really do hold you accountable. They give us the funding to help us to accomplish what we do, but what is really happening with the money? Show us the benefits of it. Show us the success along the line. And more foundations need to do that. More foundations need to not only hold you accountable, but ensure that the money that they're raising to help programs like us is really put to good use.
Maybe you haven't experienced it for yourself. I encourage you to go take a violin lesson.
I'm just trying to be free. I'm just trying to be me.